Alright, what is up? Today I want to talk about what is going on with Discmania. There's some stuff going on behind the scenes that I bet a lot of you guys have no information about, so today I want to break it down and see if there is something bigger going on. And before we get into the video, I'm doing a 25% discount on all of my C-Line MD1s with Gannon Buhr stamp. So if you want to get one, be sure to get it now before it gets sold out. All right, back to the video. So as many of you may know, House of Dis did acquire Discmania about 5 months ago. And while that was a pretty big step for Discmania, I think a lot of people didn't really think too much about it because they're acquiring a lot of different companies, but it is what it is. UC actually became a board member for House of Dis. So it seems like it was all just intertwined and kind of just not really a big deal because there was a lot mentioned about how they will continue to be a very individual presence and not be a conglomerate with the other companies. And while that definitely has felt true for the most part, as a Discmania reseller, I just got a notice about how Discmania is going to be closing their entire retailer site. So if you are a reseller, you no longer have the option to buy from Discmania. So I think starting basically today, the only way to buy Discmania products as a retailer is to go through basically the House of Dis store, which is sending all the products from Emporia, Kansas. So basically, you have to apply for this whole new program you can only buy from this site. It includes Westside, Dynamic, Latitude, Castoplast, and a couple of smaller names. So all this to say, it feels like it probably is nothing, but it also feels like while we are consolidating all this stuff, there is a bit of me that wonders if the presence of Discmania will no longer feel like its true unique self, and it will start to become just an extension of Dynamic and House of Dis. I know they're a different entity, House of Dis owns Dynamic, but with all this consolidation, it certainly feels like we are getting a little bit less uniqueness in the sport. We're getting a lot of plastic, kind of mix and matched from all the brands, which in some ways is really good. I like having the ability to have so much flexibility. If I see a great plastic from one brand, I can usually be assured that I'll get that exact same plastic with another company. So that's awesome. But it also feels like we are getting a bit of a watered down version of each brand. I felt like Castoplast was so much more unique and cool a couple years ago, and maybe that's just hipster me kind of being weird, but I definitely felt like the plastic, at least for the most recent runs of Bergs that I've purchased, it feels lower quality, it feels like less premium, and maybe that's just in my head, but I do definitely think that that worry for Discmania will not go away. My intuition here makes me definitely think that the days of Cloudbreakers being this awesome drop that are just like really cool to buy is no longer kind of a thing, and I think that the days of Discmania feeling like this super cool small brand are just kind of done with. It is now officially an arm of a bigger brand, which does give them so many more resources and ability to produce great products. No doubt that is for sure going to still be a thing. But with that said, the unique ability for Discmania to market themselves as this entirely separate entity from all the rest just is not really a thing anymore. Looking at Infinite Dis and their market share for Discmania is consistently going down over the years. Now, Infinite Dis is definitely not the end-all be-all. There is still so much power that Discmania truly has in the market, but it certainly is possible that we will no longer see Discmania as a powerhouse in the industry. It will probably feel closer to what Dynamic is right now, where it comes out with some pretty cool discs, but for the most part, it is not doing anything that revolutionary. And even though it has like that Evo line, I think the days of it coming out with brand new plastic that it really excites you probably won't be a thing. That is at least my assertion. And I definitely think that even with the signing of Gannon and all these top elite pros, I think you still just lost a lot of power with Eagle and Simon leaving. So I think the company just has to rework itself. It probably lost a lot of money from that. So if you look at Gannon, Niklas, and Kyle, they're obviously crushing it, but I do not believe it is kind of a one-for-one where the players do good and the brand does good. I think they're just totally separate entities. So even though the pro scene looks to be doing very, very well, I can feel with a decent amount of certainty that the business side for Discmania has certainly gone downhill, at least somewhat, which is why they closed down the retail shop and merged into this pool where everything is being managed by that Dynamic Emporia warehouse. Now, that is not to say that Dynamic is making the discs for Discmania. I don't think that is going on, but it is certainly the case that all shipping and warehousing is being done by Dynamic in their warehouse. And maybe it's not even truly Dynamic, maybe it is House of Dis in Emporia. But when I think of Emporia, I think Dynamic, so I'm kind of thinking it's being done by Dynamic. I don't have all the information, so I'm just guessing. And another point that was brought up when Discmania signed with House of Dis is, will the players be able to throw all the other brands as well? So let's say you are a Discmania player like Gannon Buhr. Can you start throwing Trilogy? Like, is that part of your contract? Can you throw Castaplast? Because they're all kind of being warehoused in the same area. Even if they have separate manufacturing plants, they're all being shipped and warehoused in the same place. So is it possible that Gannon Buhr starts throwing like felons? It feels like it's definitely a possibility. I don't really know for sure, but it certainly seems like that might be something that will happen, which I find very, very intriguing, because at a certain point, if you are sponsored by Dynamic or Discmania, is it all kind of the same? Like, that's what it feels like. But all this to say, what do you guys think about this information? Do you see Discmania as being in a rut, at least for their sales and Dis, or do you think this is kind of the way it goes? Consolidation is not a bad thing. This is just the way it goes for businesses, especially when it comes to kind of a downturn as a whole for the disc golf industry. I'd love to know. Obviously, I am not much of an insider. I am just projecting here. So if you guys have more facts, I would love to know about it. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe. I'm literally about to go to my first Pro Tour event as basically part of the media, and I'm shocked. I can't believe this is really happening. So thank you guys so much for watching and subscribing. It really means the world to me. With that, Wild Runs signing out. Peace.